Hey, let me ask you a question because you brought up Tony's statistics company and Tony's background with statistics beyond wrestling. Obviously, we're talking about in other sports. In wrestling, I guess the one big statistic you can kind of apply if you wanted to do things would be who moves the television numbers. That can kind of justify, and I'm not justifying it, but that could justify in Tony's mind, yeah, let's use Orange Cassidy. People tune in to see him. That's like an actual stat that professional wrestling would have, because we're not dealing with wins and losses or things that you would deal with in other sports. You know, in baseball, analytics is now a major thing. And some would argue it's too much of the game because it takes a lot of the decisions out of the manager's hands, takes a lot of the instincts out of the game. In most cases, you don't put up a left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher. A manager used to do that if they had a hunch something could happen. Now they don't do that because the stats show that a right-handed hitter will do better against a left-handed hitter most of the time. There are managers still who can kind of apply old school mentality and have instincts and have seen enough to know things that you wouldn't know if you just went based on statistics or analytics. With wrestling, if you're doing things, and I don't know if this Saturday is an example of that, I have to think it isn't, but I think maybe sometimes from Wednesday to Wednesday it is. If you're using the statistics available, which are television numbers and who moves what, is there a danger in that too? In paying too close attention to that as opposed to instincts or paying attention to what's actually happening?
Yes. If you get so minute with it and react, and they started doing this in the Attitude Era too, both sides, which was, just added to the chaos. But if you just go purely on the quarter hours or the minute by minute breakdowns or this week or what happened last week, yes, you can get trends and ideas when you piece together information over a longer period of time. You can kind of get a better idea if you're going by statistics on who they're really behind and what might be an aberration. So I guess what I'm saying is, if somebody's in the first segment that they know is going to get more viewers, are they going to try to then put someone in there to keep those viewers? But at what point are you able to differentiate? Is the guy in the first segment always getting more viewers because there's more viewers to begin with, or is it actually that guy? And I don't think from week to week you can't. There's too many variables. There's too many different things that can take place for a quarter hour ratings to be accurate in the short term. If you have a trend of every time this guy's on TV over months period of time, more people watch, then you start to get something. But remember, these statistics are estimates. It's a statistical sample of all the demos that are picked out, the metered markets, and then they extrapolate from there. And there's all kinds of variables that can go on. Is the reason why that a quarter hour segment ratings are up, is it because of that segment, or is it because of the previous segment where a bunch of people said, hey, I got to call my friend. You'll never guess what's going on now. But by the time they tune in, they're seeing the fucking other side of the commercial.
Is it a reflection of another show's going to commercial?
Is it a reflection of, remember, on a much grander scale, well, you don't remember, I don't even remember, but it's historical documented fact of the television industry. In the days of I Love Lucy in the early 50s, when literally almost everybody with a television was watching I Love Lucy, in all the major markets in the country, the city water pressure would go down during commercial breaks because everybody was running, taking a piss and flushing the toilet. And that was pretty heavy fucking evidence. But now that everything's fragmented and splintered, it can be that something big that appeals to a like-minded audience just went to break or just went off, or there's something else occurred. I remember one night and local television ratings are even more shysterish than national. One night in Louisville, we had a situation with the television station where their feed to the cable system went out. So our TV show was on from 11 to midnight on Saturday night, from before 11 o'clock through like 11:17, there was no feed of that station to the cable system. It was like color bars. And the only broadcast that the station was actually successfully transmitting was the over-the-air signal. And then everything, they got it fixed, and the other 43 minutes of the show was just fine to everybody. Guess which quarter hour was the highest rated quarter hour of our program that night when we got the ratings the following week?
Which one?
The one that only the people with an antenna could get and nobody watching cable, which was 95% of the goddamn crowd. So we were to believe one of two things. Either somebody sat and watched color bars hoping that the show would come on for 15 minutes, which I did one time when I was a fan as a young boy, or their local rating system is just shite. And in some of the markets, if 4 people that usually watch your television program go on vacation, you can drop a few points or a few tenths of a point because of I think at one time Louisville had like less than 60 metered boxes in the market to determine what everybody was watching. So it's a crapshoot anyway, but over a period of time, like anything else, you ought to be able to shake it out, the wheat from the chaff. But that doesn't excuse not trying to sell something, regardless of what talent you put on the show. And I don't know how he expected any of these matches to have an appeal to anybody that didn't, like you said, just want to see a good, in their mind, wrestling match, because either the match or the talent in it has not been built, one or the other or both.